part, and then, hey, Amy, and then we'll start talking. So someone came to me last night with an idea that we would hold, I would, of course, schedule it ahead of time, and we would do a guided meditation together, because some of the people who join me every time will know that it's sporadic and it's not always on the same day. So I'm going to try to schedule something like that and let y'all know, and it will probably be on YouTube. Where is your next life? I'm actually living my next life because I already died. So that's what I meant in that screen right there when I said I received a download of information for my next life, and it's actually this lifetime. So, but I have seen all my past lifetimes and know what I've done. Okay. Just be patient with us as we get a few more people going before I start talking. So, I've just been trying to change the world this morning, one small action at a time, and I know that I've told y'all that I believe in the power of everyday actions and how important they are. And I know there's something to that we are all understanding and can see happen in our daily lives. So, hey, Marcy. Okay, just a few more people, and then we'll get started, and I'll tell y'all what's going on. Okay, so those of you who have never seen me before, my name is Erica. And about 10 years ago, I was placed on hospice with a rare, incurable terminal neurovascular disease called multisystem atrophy, or Shaw-Drager syndrome. And I was fully expected to pass away within 6 months to a year. And at the end of that year, when I didn't die, I started these new experimental treatments, and that made me healthy enough to carry and deliver a child. At the time of my C-section, 2 hours after her birth and my C-section, I lost all the blood in my body and lost my entire life for over a minute. And a lot of things happened in that minute that I have talked about before, but sometimes I like to say this. Whether you remember it or not, we have all had a death experience. We have all died before, and it is a beautiful, sacred, loving, peaceful experience. And the only thing that I have to compare it to is giving birth. So if you can imagine that giving life is as sacred and beautiful as death. Okay, so there's really nothing to be feared in this lifetime. And we will all experience death again. So we will all feel that again. Now, the rare thing that I feel privileged sometimes and sometimes cursed that I got to keep was all of the information that is given to us to slowly relearn in the next lifetime. And one of the reasons that I was allowed to remember so much, and it was like a hard reset in my brain. And one of the reasons that I was allowed to keep that and remember it is because I made 3 really important promises. And y'all all know what they were. That I would not cause fear, that I would not address conspiracy theories, no matter how many might be true, and I would not cause fear, and I would continue speaking about my experience and tell as many people as I could. So I have worked really hard on keeping all of those promises. Now, there are some new people in here, so I want to give y'all a chance to kind of like, and I will say that I try to upload all of my TikTok lives to my YouTube channel. So if you're new and you feel like you're missing out on something or lost, then that is, you can catch that on YouTube Live. But a lot of y'all have rejoined me time and time again, and I can't thank you enough. I know that time is the most precious gift that we have to give another human. So I really appreciate y'all sharing your time with me each day that I come live. So yesterday we talked a lot about, well, we've been talking about the same things, right? Like, not reverting and regressing to fear. And I talked about that there will be safe places for people to go. And there will be safe people. And you need, if you can't do anything else, then you need to be a safe person. Okay, so I'm going to let some of the new people that are in here ask some questions. Because I know a lot of people are... I want you to understand this near-death experience changed every aspect of my entire life. And it changed everything down to what I consume, to how I act in the world, how I move around, the time that I share with people, my belief system. So it is a thing that will change you and shake you out of old patterns. And so what I want to say is this. I know that all of us have been, I don't want to say programmed, but we all have this understanding that we've been taught to think certain things and believe certain ways. And those things are not always the most beneficial or the highest good. Yes, it changed my political beliefs, absolutely, because now I have none. I know that this movement goes beyond politics. It goes beyond religion. It goes beyond race. And it is something to the very core, the law of interconnectedness in the universal laws is one of the most important laws that we can remember. So whenever we look outside of ourselves and see this big show that they're putting on for us, then we have to understand that we are still all one. These are not evil beings that are trying to... They're lost. They're lost, and they continue to take more and more and more. And there comes a point when I talk about my pecan tree a lot, that she had to preserve herself and quit giving to this other rotten tree. And I wish I could show it to you. It's my favorite pecan tree. It's the favorite tree that we have in our yard. And it's an old grandmother tree, and she has this little elderberry bush nestled in her arms, or her root system, sorry. I'm anthropomorphizing some trees. And anyway, what we need to understand is whenever there is a rotten tree on the land, then people quit feeding it. The trees quit feeding it, and they preserve themselves before when they have an awareness. I'll say this. My pecan tree says that when she communicated to all the other trees and told them about this tree that could not be saved, they all agreed to quit feeding that tree, to quit nourishing and nurturing that tree. And much like trees, we can learn valuable lessons from our trees and from nature, because it's all a cycle and it's all there for us. We are connected to the trees, so we're connected to each other. So I want to think about this. I'm going to do something a little bit different today, and I'm not going to guide you in any way. I want you to think about our earth right now. And I want you to realize that there were 5 corporations and 5, not just individuals, who become more and more wealthy by taking more and more and more. And they have, within our political parties, there have been billions of dollars gained within the last, since November. Billions, like $30 billion. And yet we have people here on the streets. We have people that are hungry. We have families in my neighborhood who can't afford food. Okay, so let's think about that for a moment. Let's think about the rot that is on our land and in our vascular system. Let's think about a tree that can never be satisfied. A tree that always wants more. Now imagine that tree is all of the elites. Imagine yourself as a majestic pecan tree, and you try so desperately to keep feeding that tree and nurturing it because you have a good heart. But what you don't see is that rotten tree is leeching not only off of all the trees on your land, but on the land next to you and the land next to that. So my pecan tree is wise and aware. And she says, look, we can't feed this guy anymore. We can't agree to keep feeding this beast that takes and takes and takes. There's no fence line that can stop that tree. The pecan tree has to be the voice for all the trees on the land. She has to send out the signal. Be aware of this tree. Be aware of this rot on our land. Be aware of the rot that seeps beyond the fence line and beyond that fence line. Look. And when she says, look, they all see. So today I'm telling you right now, that tree has taken enough from us. It's time to stop feeding that tree. Okay? This is important. This is a rotten tree that has taken more than its fair share. And it has drained the life out of all of us. And yet we have little saplings over here who are starving. Y'all get my analogies. Okay? So we have little saplings who want to grow up tall and big, but they don't even have food to eat. They don't even have energy. So the mama pecan, the grandmother pecan tree, has got to say enough. You have taken all of our energy, all of our time, all of our money, all of our efforts. And you take more and more and more. And when you have taken all the resources off of my land, you go past the fence line, which is not even yours. This goes beyond our fence line. And y'all all need to have an awareness. I am embodying this pecan tree today and telling you we have to quit feeding the rot. This goes beyond politics and religion. This is about our mother. This is about the saplings that we want to nurture and help grow. But we can't do that if we keep feeding that rotten tree. And that rotten tree will just take more and more and more. More sunlight, more water, more energy, more time, more focus, more everything. Look, I wanted to think of trees as these majestic, peaceful beings. But they're not immune to rot. They aren't immune to disease. They aren't immune to greed either. I want y'all to think about, here's what I want to hold intention, time, and space, and energy for. Y'all all get this analogy, and it just came to me. It's like straight through the pecan tree. We have little saplings in our yard right now who are watching and learning from us. And one day, they will be the grandmother trees on our land. They will have to know when it's okay to walk away, when it's okay to stop feeding a rotten tree. We have to nurture the ones that can be helped. And it's not to say that we don't still love the part of us that is greedy and rotten, but we have an awareness that that exists and that it can't be helped, that it will take more and more and more. And in the process, it will kill us. It will drain our life and our energy and our force and our ability to nurture our saplings, to nurture the other trees on our land, because it's never satisfied with the amount of water and light and love that it gets. It needs more and more and more. But we are all interconnected, and I come to you today as my pecan tree, asking you, please, quit feeding the rot. Focus on our saplings. If we don't grow new, strong trees on our land and our property, then it affects our whole ecosystem. It affects our birds. It affects our squirrels. It affects everything that exists on our land. So by cutting out that rotten tree and starving it so it takes care of itself, we no longer give it our time and focus and attention. We remove our energy from it. It can't take anything else. We can't even afford the sunlight that they're charging us for. We can't afford the water that we need to sustain us because of that tree, because of that one rotten tree. We have to cut it out. We have to stop giving it our time and energy and love. It doesn't mean that we don't still love it and we know that it had a purpose, but it was there to teach us a lesson. I think I've learned that lesson. The pecan tree and the elderberry bush desperately cry. They cry out to me today. And this analogy came to me. And the pecan tree is using her ancient wisdom to know that it's okay to let go. You no longer have to be in a codependent relationship with someone who takes and takes and takes. Time to prune, right? Time to stop feeding it. Time to stop giving it attention and love and focus. Listen, there are going to be... I want to keep talking about this analogy. It's an important one. But I also want us right now to just have a moment where you think about the people in your neighborhood who go to bed hungry at night, who have nowhere in the middle of the cold. I'm going to tell you something. A lady and her child stole a truck last night from my husband's work site because they had nowhere to go. She's working, doing the best she can. Used to, the churches would open their doors in this time, and now they're closed. But yet they profit so drastically. Enough to build a new back building, enough to build a new hall. We can't continue to overlook these injustices. Think about the people in your area who have nowhere to lay their head at night because their rent is costing them 50 and 60% of their income. Think about that young couple who just sold anything that they might have so that they could make a car payment. And now, think about all the people on the world stage who have just in months got $30 billion richer. Think about that. Now, with that in mind, I want each of you to take a minute and think about what you want New Earth to look like. We have all revoked consent time and time again, and you have to keep revoking consent. You have to know that we can't go back to this. We can't give it our time and attention. We can't give it any of our energy anymore. It no longer serves our highest good. But I do want you to think about it. Now envision, you have a responsibility when you envision New Earth, a new place where peace and love and harmony are all existing and everybody has everything that they need. Not everything that they want, but everything they need. They have food to eat, they have clean water to drink, they have a place to rest their head at night. You all have a responsibility to think about what is the highest good. Because your highest good is the highest good of all. So let's just take a minute and all think about that. Let's think about it. Let's just hold time and space for New Earth to come in. And the highest good of all. Where we don't have to starve saplings. Where people have warm places to go in the winter. And cool places in the summer. Where communities can love each other and help each other grow. And create. And love. Hold space with me right now. Hold time with me. And while we're holding that silent space and time, pour all your love and light into this moment. And know that we can have a great impact. We can make communities. This is beyond our land. This goes around our entire neighborhood. Hold time and space right now with me. I'm going to sit silent for a minute. And I want y'all to pour all your love right here into this time and space. And know that the elites are less than 1% of the world's population. So if we hold enough space to be 1%, we've beat them. We're winning. Hold this time and space with me. Thank you. I come to you with gratitude and a grateful heart. And I know our community and this collective is doing a huge thing, whether you realize it or not. You have gifts and talents that you can share with the world. You're an intricate part of this movement and this collective. You need to stop doubting. Stop doubting that. This is the moment that we need to be strong. We can't look back, and we cannot give it any more time and energy. We have to keep forging ahead. And we have to starve the rotten tree out of our land. We have to focus on the saplings. We have to focus on, look, even trees will feed the sick trees if it's the highest good of all. I know we are as wise as trees. I know we can do this. I've seen it. I know that we win. You have to keep forging ahead. This is more than what's going on in our physical 3D reality right now. We have to know that when we hold time and space, and when we revoke consent, and when we do those things together, it is powerful. When we observe that with each other, it's even more powerful. And my dad keeps saying this, he's annoying me with this phrase, knowing is half the battle. Knowing is half the battle. He keeps saying it over and over and over again. And so I just ask, well, if knowing's half the battle, what do I need to know? But it's just like the pecan tree. She's aware of the rot on the land that keeps reaching out for more and more and more, taking more. So she made all of the other trees aware of it, and they've all agreed that it's time to move on. It's time to stop giving that rotten tree time and energy. We love it. It served its purpose. But now it's time to move on. I know y'all are hearing me and what I'm saying. And I know each of you hold a special power within you. You are powerful beings. You are made to create and spread the love. The rotten tree has taken many shortcuts to get energy. It's even reached out to other neighborhoods and other areas. But we know that's not right. We would never do that. So what can we do right now? We know that it's important where we place our time and energy and focus. Keep going with that. It's so important. And if you need to turn the news off, turn it off. If you need to turn the world off, turn the world off. Look, there are people in my life. Y'all know I'm in a rural, conservative Christian area. And it is difficult. I'm not going to lie to you about it. It's, I've been here my entire life, though. And I know that I will be someone who needs to give advice about those things. Yes, look, the people right now have been great at making reality TV. And if you want to subscribe to that program and you want to go back to it, then go back all the way in it. And then come back and find me. And tell me Tell me. Someone tell me. Yeah, we see it now. I know y'all get it and understand. And part of the thing is, y'all know how I told you that there's like a chemical reaction that happens in our body when we fear. It's important that you know that, because when we fear, it takes part of our power away. So they like to keep us in a constant state of fear. It's the same MO. They're going to have to come up with something new. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the truth. Look, I just explained this to my 3-year-old. I don't know what I do know what she saw. She was at her grandmother's house and saw, on the news, of course, the California fires, and she wanted to get it out of her mind. And she is a powerful being, and she knows that she can sometimes take feelings and bring them out and then throw them away. So she's taught me that. And so I told her, well, get it in your mind, get it out of your mind, and then throw it as far away as you can. And she said, I can't unsee it. And I thought, wow, that's a powerful lesson right there. Once you see, you can't unsee, and once you know, you can't unknow. And with that knowing and with that seeing comes a responsibility, whether you want it or not. Look, a lot of people say that they didn't have an NDE, but they had a Kundalini awakening, and that's for a purpose. That's so we can all be part of this moment. We are stepping forward onto new earth, and we do not have to give the rot our time and attention or our energy. When you think about the highest good for yourself, then you effectively think about the highest good for everyone else, because we all are interconnected. So tell me how many of y'all would be interested in if I scheduled something like a guided meditation. I know meditation is not for everyone, but if we were to schedule something on YouTube, would y'all want to be a part of that? Okay. Okay, so a lot of people would. Okay. Well, then we'll do that. We're going to need to hold a lot of time and space and put a lot of our time and energy into healing. Healing for each other, healing for ourselves, and part of that is going to be sharing time with people who are on the same path as you. Look, I know it's hard. Some of y'all are in areas where you feel like you're an outcast. I'm telling y'all, I'm here. We cannot give it your time and attention. I have people all around me who are still deeply programmed, for a lack of better words. I can't pull them out of it. It's not my responsibility to do that. I can plant a seed and I can say, look, I think this, when they're telling me about what they're seeing. Well, all you can do is just plant a seed. And whether it grows or not is up to them, because they have to nourish that seed. And if they're continuing to watch things that tell them completely different than what you're saying, they're not going to be able to get out of it. You have to be okay with limiting time with people. You have to love yourself enough and offer yourself the same amount of love and compassion and grace that you so freely offer to others. And I know that is been on repeat for me, but that's the message. So loving yourself enough to set healthy boundaries is part of that. And it doesn't mean that you don't love your family. It means that you set up healthy times, amounts of time, that it doesn't pull you back into their world. Because it is incredibly important right now what you consume, what you intake, what you listen to, what you hear, what you see. It is important. We are on the road to ascension. You don't want to be pulled back. Miss Joan, you've got to admit that you've gotten addicted to TikTok comment section drama. Okay, look, we all love a little drama. It's okay. But I think the main thing is in the winter. Like, it's harder in the winter because we're inside. We can't, like, it's really cold here. And I know that it's hard, So what I would encourage you to do is journal, meditate. Like, sometimes I pace up and down the hallway, and I sit with my bird feeder at the window, like the little old granny that I am, and Olive too. I remember being a little girl and seeing so disturbing I had to pray, and you can't unsee what you saw. No, you can't. So, hey, Adam. Okay, I have a question. So, if we're reincarnated, how do we talk to our ancestors? Don't they reincarnate? Good question. I like this. Okay, so listen. If I use this analogy a lot because this is what we are. We are billions of fractals of light. And if you can't imagine that, then go look up what bees see humans like, because we are billions and billions of fractals of light. And sometimes we can leave little pieces of our energy on the earth with certain people. And yes, your ancestors, part of their consciousness still exists. Energy can't be created or destroyed, so it continues on. Adam, your patient had an NDE. He shared his story and it eased my soul. Yeah, death is not anything to be scared of. There's a chemical reaction that happens in your brain during death. And I know that it can be shared because I know that my husband shared my experience. He was in the room with me, and we agree that it was like the most sacred, special experience that we had ever shared. And I don't know how to explain that to anyone else without sounding... I'm glad that he shared that with you. If he's sharing that, then please listen. Time is one of the most... If someone offers to share their story with you, that is a gift within itself. And we have forgotten that as a people. Storytellers and orators are really special people. And if they are offering their time to tell you their story, then you should listen, because it's a story probably full of things that you can draw from experience. And oftentimes people with stories have had really difficult experiences. I feed the birds and rabbits. I go walk in nature, winter, spring, and summer. See, a lot of people, there are 4 different tribes. There were 4 different tribes original to the earth, and they came from different directions. And we all work differently. So some people I actually have a very difficult time sitting and meditating because my mind is racing all the time, and a lot of people find it difficult, and there's a reason for that, because no one knows your way. And I will caution everyone now that if someone is offering you answers to every question and every problem, then they probably are making that up. I don't even have all the answers, and I know I was shown a ton of information, but that's the beauty of people, because we were never meant to separate. We were always meant to share each other's cultures and celebrate our differences. And many people think that their tribe's way is the way. And so that becomes the disruptor in any spiritual path, that one tribe thinks that they have all of the answers. And no, they have all of their answers. But your tribe and your body and your mind and your spirit and your energy work a completely different way from that other person. Wow, Charlie, thank you for sharing that. You were clinically dead for 20 minutes. It was amazing. It is a beautiful experience. It is beautiful. Do you have any advice on how we can heal physical ailments in ourselves and our pets? Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, listen, when we talk about ourselves specifically, humans, I want you to understand that at one point in time, the earth had everything, provided everything that we needed for complete healing. We are more than our physical bodies. So sometimes illnesses can be spiritual, mental, physical, or they can be energetic. So until we understand that in our healthcare systems, there are a lot of like functional medicine doctors who focus on some of this, but a lot of times I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend going that route. The indigenous people had a very good understanding. They had plant medicine. They had an understanding that sometimes an illness was from a past and sometimes it was energetic. And one of the things that I was shown in my experience is that everyone has their own journey, pets included. And sometimes illnesses are there to teach us things. I have a chronic illness, and I know I was shown the origin point of it, and I know the immense amount of lessons that I have learned from having that. And a lot of spiritual people will say, well, you're just not understanding because you should be able to heal yourself. Well, I know that's wrong. That's a really negative and harmful message, because especially as Americans, we have been interfered with on a very basic level. And I've made videos about that, about how there have been neurotoxins, endocrine disruptors, antibiotics, microplastics, and these all affect our physical body. So there are steps, and you just have to, if you want to message me after this and give me specifics, like if it's your pet or if it's you, just, it would help me better guide you on that. So let's get back. Okay, so the indigenous people will have, they've always had this understanding, and they are going to be an extremely important part of New Earth because they hold ancient secrets and wisdom. And there are other people on the earth right now who are looking to get back to that and who have an understanding that the earth is important and we need to take care of her. Y'all bear with me. I'm thinking today a lot about the people who are profiting, and I am desperately trying to figure out how to negate that, and maybe y'all have ideas. I've put together a petition, and it's a long one, and I know that it might, I don't know, we have to do something. Holding time and space is one thing, and I know how powerful intention can be, but I also know that there has to be action also. One of my friends, Miss Connie, said that welcome to the evolution revolution. And I look a lot to my elders for guidance and support. And Thomas and I have had many conversations about what we can do other than what we're doing. And sometimes we feel powerless, don't we? I'm just going to be really vulnerable at the moment and tell y'all, sometimes what my dad has given me feels much bigger than myself. And he keeps telling me, like, you don't doubt yourself. Keep going. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're winning. And then there are days whenever I'll hear something, or like driving to town on the radio and just overhear about the billions of dollars, and it puts me in a place where I know I'm not supposed to go back, but it pisses me off. Like, it doesn't make me scared. It makes me anger, but anger can sometimes fuel action. Like, I am a peaceful, loving person, and my message for my entire life has been that we need to be peaceful, loving people. And there have been peaceful revolutions in the past. I know of 4 that, yes, righteous anger for sure. But the lady and her child that had to steal a dump truck last night, like, that fuels something inside of me that makes me like a mama bear. Like, I'm good. I have been in her same spot. And granted, it was in the summer, like, with my child, having to go from gas station to gas station because I didn't want him to get overheated. And to think that that can happen when other people have billions of dollars and money doesn't even matter. Like, there will be a time when we have to come together and say, we're not, that rotten tree's got to go. Like, we all have to have to take care of each other. Like, you know, like I want to open my home. And what prevents me from doing that is because I do have a child. And things have happened in my past that I know that you have to be careful with that. But at the same time, I'm telling y'all, like, don't fear anything. Like, pick that person up on the side of the road who doesn't have a car. You know, open your home. And so I reached out to someone in my neighborhood, and they've agreed to open their home for these people. And so that's what I'm saying. Don't let what you can't do keep you from doing what you can do. Okay? That's an important thing. Don't let what you can't do keep you from doing what you can. Because it's easy to get overwhelmed and feel like, well, there's nothing I can do. Do what you can and know that you're helping, and that can make an impact, a lasting impact. No matter how small the thing is, even if you connect a person with another person, it's changed that person's life. I know whenever I was homeless with my 3-year-old child, any act of kindness that we received was big. Any time someone let us sit in a restaurant, anytime someone gave us water or opened their home to us, or any time, that made a lasting impact on my life. And it got me in a situation where I finally could say, hey, I need help. Miss Joan, I have a video on my YouTube page, and it's from a really long time ago, and it talks about my physical limitations. I want you to go, I think it's this message too. It is frustrating. Listen, there was a time when I was limited very physically, and I still am sometimes. But we have to remember this. Okay, so we may be limited financially or physically, but there will be other ways that we can make a difference. And I'm telling y'all now, it is a beautiful and powerful thing when you realize what it is and how you're helping. So I'm telling y'all all now today that y'all all have made a difference in my life. Y'all have held time and space with me. And by telling my story and y'all receiving it and observing it and hearing me, actually hearing me, makes me feel seen. It makes me feel heard and understood. And it has been extremely helpful in the things that, in the way that I continue to move throughout my day. Thank you, Miss Jenny, for that. Yes, it is time. So we all have to find a balance, and we all have to help in the ways that we can. And we have to stop feeding the rotten tree. We have to stop giving it our time and attention and any effort. And I realize today that I have some sort of a privilege, okay? And you have to recognize that with your privilege comes a responsibility. Every video that I've made up until this point is important. And everything that my dad tells me to share is important. And I know that he's trying to right the wrongs of his time. But I also know that it's up to each of us to do what we can. Okay, honey, Cold Glow. I haven't seen you in a while. You have a question. Go for it. So I'm waiting for this question. I just want y'all Okay, I'm waiting for the question. You all have to understand that, okay, does revolution hurt or help the path to the highest good for New Earth? That's an interesting question. So I have always said, geez, you're asking all the right questions today. Should we take a stand or ignore? So this is where I come to the paradox, okay? This is where it's a conundrum, right? Because I'm saying we're not going to give it our time and energy and attention. But at the same time, the council has told me we can't remain silent. We can't just stand by and be silent. Love conquers all. So here's what I want to say about this. This revolution does not take place in our 3D. And I know that goes beyond what may be understood right now. But this is a spiritual revolution. This is an energetic revolution. I don't want you to sit silent. If you feel, I want you to keep yourself safe, but I also want you to know that there are people working behind the scenes to create safe places. And there will always be helpers. It's hard for me to answer at this time because until I have... Look, if y'all want me to be real honest with y'all, I never saw our president being sworn in. I'm going to be honest. Like, there are many intuitive, spiritual people who never saw that happen. And so we have this understanding now that it happened. It can't. Thomas sent me a video, and there's this woman saying that it can't happen on... We weren't all wrong. There's something that isn't right about it. It is energetic and spiritual. The revolution... Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, confirmation for me. It's not that he jumped the timeline. It's that... I'm going to say people have cheated. And it's not just one person. It's a collective of people who used something to gain that. And so now... Look, a couple of days ago, I was talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I said, a protest is good, right? A protest gets us feeling heard and seen. But then there was an action after the protest. It was always followed up by an action, a sit-in or a blockade or something like that. There have been peaceful revolutions. And Dr. King was one of those peaceful revolutions. He led a great number of people on a peaceful revolution. Gandhi was another peaceful revolution. The Velvet Revolution. You know, so there's not going to be any more martyrs or sacrificial lambs. There's not going to be any more bloodshed over this. So we have to be crafty and careful. the revolution is about awareness, being aware of what happened, and creating safety and standing up when we see something wrong. They are all corrupt. I just realized I never saw the president sworn in now that you mention it. Is the military in charge right now? I think it's all fake. It's weird. The TikTok ban was BS too. Something else is going on. Yes. Okay, so the awareness part of it that y'all all have is important. It's just like the pecan tree. Making every other tree aware of what is happening. Underground, she does this. Underground, she does this. She uses her roots and her vascular system to say, hey, sister, look, this tree over here is rotten, and it's taken more than its fair share. We have loved it. We have been good to it. We have nurtured it. But it's taking away from the trees on the other land in the neighborhood. It's crossed the fence line. Whoa, hey, sister, wake up. Did you see this? The awareness to know that we should not give that tree any more of our time and energy and effort and resources is the revolution. Miss Connie, and I reposted it. You can look on my page. She says some very important things in the evolution revolution. And this is the great awakening of the Pleistocene era. We have, look, this goes beyond politics. This is about way more than that. And I think any real change is going to come from a collective of people. It can't, and we have to be able to depend on each other. And this may be something, look, I've been helped to make this petition. The Pleistocene era. It's Pleistocene. And it's the plastic era. They just named it Pleistocene. Okay. So, look, trees communicate underground. It is not seen. And I have been given this petition, and I don't know what to do with it or where to put it or who to give it to. But it addresses everything that our leaders refuse to address. It talks, it's long, but I know it was given to me by my ancestors, and I know that it holds power to have change. But I also know that it can make me I don't know. Can you put something up anonymously on change.org, or do you have to put your name to it? It's just asking. So look, I was given this quite some time ago, and I didn't know why. But I know now what it's for and why, and it has been translated into other languages. Like, I think it's been translated for the world, actually. Like, it's in Chinese because all of the leaders of the world are connected. And they have taken shortcuts. And they have used and abused. And I'm making y'all aware of it right now. I'm being the pecan tree and saying, no more. We can't do this anymore. I think you can make the account for Superman if you wanted to. Well, the thing about it is like, think about if it comes from a phone or a device or anything, that can easily be traced. They have every technology to do that. So I'm not scared, but I do have a family. But no, I don't. You know? So, anyway, do it with a burner phone. I'm paranoid, but everything is traceable today. You know, yeah. I just think it's what we're in right now. Thank you for hearing me, Tiffany. We can't be paranoid. We can't worry about things. And I know the pecan tree was an important analogy for today. And I'll upload this on my YouTube channel. And I will work towards holding time and space with you. Scheduling that and announcing it. And I figured out how to go live on YouTube. So we all have gifts, Miss Jenny. We all have gifts. And the thing I told my elder today, my dear friend, I said, we don't always know how valuable our gifts are because they've always been our own. But our gifts are not our own. They're made to share with other people. And I know that your story and your authenticity could help a lot of people heal. And don't ever be afraid to share your own personal stories, because there's something so empowering about being authentic and raw and real with people. And I can't tell you, there's a lot of times that I want to like hold myself together, and I don't want to get so vulnerable, but every time I do, and every time that y'all hold time and space for me to do that, it heals a part of me so that I can be a better version of myself for the world. And I take that with me everywhere I go. And in every interaction that I have, I am with each of you. Each of you are with me. And that's an important thing. I don't think that enough people realize that we have to hold time and space, and that's a powerful thing. Your gifts may not be apparent to you, but you have many. You know, I don't always know my gifts. I know that I didn't know I even had synesthesia until I was like a teenager, and I thought everyone saw music in color. Okay, so let's recap today. Thank you, Mandela Effect. I appreciate that. I don't see it as encourage. Okay, so look, a lot of people are saying mail, unite in person, word of mouth. Love always wins. Yes, it conquers all. Okay, so let's recap. We went into the analogy of the pecan tree and how even though we're majestic, magical beings and we love to nurture and we love to give, there comes a point when the rotten tree is taken enough, and we have to nurture the little saplings on our land. We have to make sure that we have enough energy and resources for those little saplings. We can't let them have to steal a dump truck at night to stay warm. We have to stop giving our time and energy and focus to things that no longer serve our highest good. And we have to stand up when we see something wrong that we don't agree with. We have to stand in our truth. We have to stand in our authentic selves. And our gifts are not our own. They're meant to share with others. And we hold time and space for each other. I finally figured out YouTube Live, so I'll try to post on there whenever get a set time and date that we can maybe schedule a guided meditation. Meditation's not for everyone, so if you know meditation's not for you, then bring your paint set or a sketchbook or just take a walk when we're meditating. So, and trees also can communicate underground, right? Like they talk to each other underground. Awareness is a big part of this. Making other trees aware of what you see around you. Making the other trees know what you know. Because not everyone knows that tree has cheated and crossed the fence line. Not everyone knows that. So you hold your own awareness and share that with others. And through awareness comes the power of action. And then we know where to put our focus and our time and our energy. And there will always be safe trees on your land. You will always know that grandmother tree to go to and to look to for advice and guidance and counsel. And listen to the other trees. Don't just be thinking that you know the way and that you know the direction, because every tree has a voice and a need. And those needs are the highest good of all, for all. Okay? I love y'all. Y'all are all worthy of healing and love, and I'll post this. I'll upload this to my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel on my TikTok page. It's linked, or if you want to search it on YouTube, it's Erica Smith, Apprentice of All.